Hello. Crikey, I've had a hard time getting this on, so it won't time hop on me, which is interesting because I want to talk about code breaking really, and how I never really had like a context for the way that I think and the way that I see things up until more recently, where I kind of realised actually what I do, it's like being a bit like being a computer hacker, except you're not hacking into a computer like this, which I'm speaking into now, but you're hacking into the mainframe of life. And there's like all these codes which we're amongst all the time. And oh, sorry, it's all the wrong way around when I'm filming. Anyway, thank God she's gone. She was pushing me to the end of the seat. Like, she's so tiny, but she's so like naughty because she does literally push you over. This tiny little cat puts a dead weight onto you. I just come to put the heating on, so I might be able to lose this woolly jumper and scarf perhaps soon. Anyhow, back to the point. So yeah, I never really had a name for what I do. I never really thought of myself as a hacker because I never really thought of it in those terms. And then through the summer, when so much clarity was coming, I went through a really awesome patch in August where it felt like as though if I'd stayed on that page, there'd have been nothing left. I mean, like you get to a point, don't you? And then you get scooped up and taken back home. And I realised, crikey, if you don't ask more questions, Nina, because everything that I'd always been asking since I was like as far back as I can remember, I was finding out the answers to. Not everything, but on a spiritual level, I was seeing, my sight kept getting open more and more, and all of my senses, not just my sight, all of my senses, because you need all of your senses to be working fully. Mine not working fully, they're just working a lot more fully than most, and than what they were before. So, because like obviously the false light of Lucifer versus the true light of Christ. So the falsities, the lies, they all numb us, they numb our senses, and then of course, like, I'm trying to do this and I'm getting all itchy and stuff. Oh crikey, give up. But if I get itchy, it's hard not to itch, isn't it? It'd be loads of distractions for what I'm talking about, because this is the kind of thing which is like, I've not really got a name. I don't know. My oven's going off. I've got mince pies in there. I thought I'm not making my own. I'm going to buy some nice ones. Okay, I'm going to stay on point. Let's pray. Dear Father, through Jesus Christ, help me explain about the mainframe and hacking that you bless us with as we heal more. Please, Father, help me to do this on point and all these distractions to dissipate so that I can make this video. And let's hope that the people who need to see it, who understand, see it, and the people who don't, learn to switch off and not watch my stuff. Alright, in Jesus Christ's name and glory, and ever your thankful daughter, love, Nina. Amen. Alright, that was a Nina prayer. So, yeah, right, basically what I do is, it's like being a computer hacker, but I'm not a computer hacker. I wouldn't have the first clue. I am happily computer sensory numbed, I guess. I mean, I do my editing thing. Well, I know the photography side of computers, and I know like how to edit and stuff. But like, I haven't been editing a thing. It's just been going out pure. If I get caught into the whole editing thing, then I'd get so picky with myself. I'd like want to get one word out or things like that. And also, in the old days, I used to still be more programmed than what I am now, and just one word can change the whole meaning of everything you're saying. And so I always would have to go back and pull out the programmed word which changed the meaning around. So I didn't have to used to do that then, but I don't seem to need to do that anymore. I kind of seem to be over that, touch wood, with the blessings of Christ and his guidance and glory. Because I never just speak because for the sake of speaking, not ever. I always speak because I feel inspired to say certain things at certain times. And so that's kind of how it is, I just live by the grace of God. So yeah, I realised over the summer that in actual fact what I do is I see all of the things in life which most people don't see. which is literally hacking the mainframe of the world we're perceived to see, like meant to be, that we're taught to be, that we're taught to perceive. And instead, I see beyond that. I always have. It's just that the more you grow and heal, the more you see, and the more that you're aware of seeing what you see. I'm going to have to take this off because I'm getting too warm now. I'm not used to having the heating on, especially not only at lunchtime. That's like such an indulgence. But it was really cold. So there you go. So yeah, I've like been calling myself, but not really to anyone apart from really close friends, a hacker of the construct of the world we live in. Someone who can see beyond. Thanks, the things I see, I don't sit here. People sit and try and be psychic, or they try and like polish off what they think are gifts. I don't do any of that, I sit and I work on self-healing and, do things around me. Things vary, the way I live my life varies. Sometimes I'll be in a more communicative point. Like at the moment, I feel like making videos and stuff. And also speaking to people a little bit more out there in the real world, because you've got to stay in touch. You can't go into your own little bubble, and it's good to do that when you've got healing from the past to get through. But once you've done that, it's best to not be like contained in your own little bubble, because obviously you have to be in touch. Now what I find is that I don't need to watch the news or to watch the propaganda which is being fed to everyone. I'm very in touch. When everyone was freaking out about the Third World Wars, or which we're already in, the Third World War it's been happening for decades. It's spiritual warfare. It's not like the Second World War. That's just fear programming. But knowing all this stuff and seeing all this stuff, and like I film things which clearly show the matrix glitches, but it's easier for people to see it that way. I see it a lot all the time, there's so much that I see all the time, and I have my whole life long. It's just that the understanding and growth, it grows obviously as you do, or it shrinks if you shrink. But the whole point of this is just to get me like sectioned. The point of this is, I never had a name for what I am, apart from a spiritual warrior, because it is spiritual warfare we live amongst. And even though it's not me that's doing the fighting, I'm not a fighter. And the reason why I don't practice these spiritual gifts, like some people get caught up in, I must practice astral projecting, I must practice this, I must practice that. It's all New Age, or quote unquote, it's called New Age, but it's not good. It's not cool. You see, if God needs you to do something, he gifts you it immediately. So if we're in touch with Jesus, it's real truth and purity, and not the lies which are said in his name, and the horrible, torturous things which happen in the name of Jesus Christ, which isn't Jesus Christ. It's the false lied, like masquerading as Christ. It's, Christ's truth and purity is nothing like what most perceptions via religion and many other vacuums try and have it, because people are out there trying to use something really good and pure and turn it into a corrupt version, like what they do with eugenics, when they breed people to be organically like I'm organically like I am now, but they try to twist that and make it into something corrupt, So yeah, I don't really know what the name is for what I do. It's like I just do being me, really. It doesn't really need a label. But for people who like need labels, it's like being a mainframe hacker. When you're seeing beyond and seeing the things which are meant to be hidden. And I'm really good at seeing all that. But then some of the really obvious details, which is kind of what everyone else sees, all the obvious connotations, they're always like the things which come to me last, because the way my head works and has been trained to work, it just doesn't see things from that level, but it does see it from the more out there level, which most people can't see. And then of course, if you can see more than most people and understand more than most people, that's an easy way to be targeted by people living in fear of what bear in mind the things which I don't speak of because I haven't been inspired by God yet, are things which is the reasons why people would love to see me gone or locked in a mental institution. Thankfully, I get a heads up on things, my God connection. It's so important we all stay connected and don't let the world disconnect us. And don't let the fear of the horrible lies that we were told as kids keep us spiritually traumatized and severed, because if we are kept living the lies, then we can't ever get free. But deprogramming from everything is being able to recognize the lies versus the truth, but also the truth within, because natural reaction is denial when it gets too close to home. And there's so many people in this quote unquote conspiracy world or quote unquote truth movement who study high level mind control, and I can usually tell if somebody has been mind controlled themselves or if they're just a researcher. There's definitely a difference, because the researchers, just the pure researchers, usually there's more to that which is being seen, but also there's so many people who want to offer support to people who are open about the lineage and the ways which they've been controlled, which they know about at the moment or that they can talk about at the moment. Yet they're not, and they're studying. I started off when I first discovered the missing link for me. I started reading books about mind control, and I was like, oh my God, I could be reading about my whole family here. Oh my God, everything just clicked into place. But at the same time, denial kicked in, and I didn't want to think I could possibly be that, mind control. I didn't want the truth to be the truth, because the implications for me in my scenario of my family of this being true was so massive. It wasn't even about me. It was about everyone around me, and all of the people who, over the years would have been involved. Anyway, so that was my massive red flag, the denial, because I don't feel denial, and I've always been one to face things, not to face things on, straight on, not to hide from them, not to be in denial, not co-consciously anyhow. And that's why I feel sad when I can see there's people out there who clearly are involved a lot more than they realise. And it's sad, but it's something that we all need to look at. Anyone who's watching my stuff who also researches mind control, it's worth having because you see it's called trauma-based mind control, and it's there to create an undetectable mind control slave. That means undetectable. That means unless you have program glitches you can smash your way through, then you're never going to know. You may well never know. People may well never know. I think my lineage and the fact I was meant to be a truther. I was meant to be a truther with the New Age Christ nonsense, not the purity of Christ's truth and love. Oh, it went all bright then. But I was meant to be a corrupted version. I was meant to be another one out there doing what I'm doing, but a corrupted version and not the truth. And that's why I get persecuted for doing what I'm doing. Not only do I know a lot I haven't spoken about because it's never felt right yet, and it's too dangerous for me to speak about certain things. But yeah, basically, I am what I was meant to be, just the real version, because Christ saved me. And the real truth always sets us free, But yeah, other than that, we started off saying about how it's like being a mainframe hacker, but you're hacking into the codes of the world we live amongst, and you're seeing it unravel before you. And that's it. It's a code breaker, isn't it? Which is interesting, because that Bletchley Park place always made me feel why do I feel so connected to there? You see the obvious details. It's takes me a while, but the covert stuff I'm brilliant at. I don't mean it big-headedly. I just am. I really am. And so, yeah, that's basically what I have been doing for years now. I just never gave it a label or a title. And, the more I think about the fact that my mother and co want to try and make out I'm a bit bonkers, is the more I chuckle inside at all the things I could be saying, which I'm not saying, because I'd rather didn't get to those lengths. I don't want to hurt her. I love her, you know, she's my mum, I love her. But I am out of time. And so on that note, this is a video dedicated to everyone who knows exactly what I'm saying and gets it and have gone through the same hells that I have. All right. God bless. It's still Sunday the 6th, by the way. I'm feeling quite inspired, so I might make more. But I've got to go.